Hello, everybody. This is Debbie from Teacher Success Coach. Second time lucky. My guest is here now. I've lost her before. Right. You know, where you come from, etc. And you tell us about, your journey, etc. Okay. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rhonda Rose, and I'm an empowerment coach. I've been working with women for the past 10 years, supporting them with their domestic violence journey and helping them rebuild their lives from all sorts of trauma which they've been facing. I've gone in now to life coaching because I want to take women that step further. And, rather than just getting over your traumas, I want you now to move forward and, explore the whole wonderful world out there that's waiting for you, that it had once crashed.
Thank you very much. Rhonda, where are you from? Are you from the UK or outside? Tell us where you come from.
Yeah, I was born here in England. My parents are Barbadian and Jamaican background.
Okay, so you're from the UK, because there's some days I have, people from different countries. So that's why I wanted to let my audience know that, yes, you're from the UK. And not too far from me.
Yes.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so you've actually did say to us that one of the things you were doing before was supporting women through domestic violence. What are some of the issues women face when they're actually going through domestic violence?
There's a lot of issues. I mean, a lot of people think domestic violence is just physical violence, but actually it's more than that. Yeah, it can really weigh them down emotionally and, take everything out of them. It's a very draining experience. They can also experience financial abuse. So, they are left feeling no confidence. They can become homeless. They can have to move where they area that they were brought up in if the violence is very serious. So, it's a major knockback in their lives. And most of the time they're starting again with nothing from this experience.
Thank you. So how do you empower women who've gone through domestic violence to actually start building their life again, bearing in mind they're coming from a place of uncertainty, fear, and lack of confidence? So how do you empower them to, to pick up the pieces and start again?
The main thing with domestic violence, especially if it's gone on for a long period of time, women become so used to this behavior that they haven't realized what has been happening to them, because, it might start with a small slap and then years later you're being battered. So it is slight domestic violence, because I mean, if you meet a man and he's awful the first time you meet him, you don't go back. So it's a bit of, sugar and sweet at the same time. So the first thing with domestic violence is letting women know what they've been through and, that they're not alone in this, because domestic violence can only continue when it's kept a secret. I mean, once everybody knows, everybody starts to sort of help you around the situation. So once they realize that, they are not alone, they weren't silly, there's so many other people that are in the same circumstances, positions, and then they start to, come around and get more talkative about the topic. And then after that, we can move to the next stage of rebuilding their lives. By looking at, where they've come from, what's happened, and then the main thing is letting go of what happened and embracing the future.
Thank you. Something you said, which I find really interesting, you said that some women don't even realize that they're being abused. So you're saying that they normalize the situation.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, every relationship, there is an aspect of control or an aspect of, making the other person feel happy. And, that can, if it is too strong, then it is violence. And if it's not making you happy and you're not free to do what you actually want to do within reason of your relationship, then it is domestic violence, you know? You should be able to do as you want, wear what you want, go where you want, obviously with respect for each other in the relationship. So yeah, it can catch up with them in a couple of years, not straight away.
Thank you. Which type of abuse do you think is the most common that you've been, supporting women with?
What was that? Sorry, you can repeat that bit?
Yes, I'm saying to you, which type of abuse, is the most common that you've been supporting women with?
I would say it's definitely the emotional abuse. Definitely the emotional abuse. Um, when you might be living with somebody and they're always asking you what time are you coming home, or and then they always want you to be on time, or they always want the house in a certain way. If it's more like becoming like a chore and job and it's no longer enjoyable, then you sort of need to think about what's happening and nip these things in the bud so that both partners are happy in the relationship and one is not benefiting more than the other.
Thank you. Which type of abuse do you think is the most detrimental to a woman's well-being?
Well, definitely the physical, because if it is a really bad attack, I mean, you can lose a limb, lose an eye, or, it can be fatal. It can be death. But what women need to remember is nobody thinks their partner will kill them. So it can be just, one fatal blow or something like that.
Right. You see, I've always, spoken to women in terms of abuse that the physical abuse can be twofold because they're having the physical attack and it affects them psychological. So when you look at that, one would look at that as it's a double set of abuse. Because the physical abuse then manifests into the psychological abuse, and it might lead to things like trauma, and it might lead to things of the fear of going out, etc., etc. Although we are aware that abuse on the basis as a whole is detrimental, I do feel, and when I speak to women, the most detrimental one of all is the physical abuse.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, because as you said, it's two in one, isn't it? So with the emotional, it's just one, it's just emotional, it's draining. With the physical, you're actually battered and drained. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. And you now say that you've just started independent, your coaching business.
That's correct.
You're hearing me?
Yes, I am.
Right. Why did you feel now is the time for you to start on this coaching journey?
Okay, so I think I'm at a place in my life where I've gained enough experience working in youth clubs, housing, job centres. So I've got, a wide knowledge on domestic violence again for the last 10 years. So I think I've got a wide knowledge that I can actually go further now with my journey with women and help them more. And I feel I can do that when I'm working for myself rather than working for an organization. You can give a bit more than you would normally. So that's why I've branched out onto this journey now.
Yeah, okay, thank you. What were the triggers which started you on your empowerment journey? Did you hear me? Oh, you froze then. Rhonda, did you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes. What happened was there were some clients at work, you know, that I was, you know, speaking to and providing emotional support for them. So sort of just a listening ear. But you know, there were times that I would want to go and meet these people personally and, you know, have more involvement in their lives and their development, you know, and their achievements and things that they wanted to do.
We keep on freezing. I don't know if it's my end or her end. Yeah, she's frozen. Rhonda? Rhonda? Right, guys, I was talking to one of my women on the Today Show, the Women Empowerment Wednesday show. And one of the things we were talking about, oh, you're back. Oh my goodness, you froze. Right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, one of the questions I was asking you, I'm not too sure if you've answered it. What started you on, what were the triggers for you starting on this empowerment journey? Because you say you've been on this journey, 10 years you've been supporting women. So I wanted to know what were the triggers to empower you to start supporting women on their journey. And now you're on a different stage of your empowerment journey to independently support them.
Yeah. Well, I guess it all started when, you know, some clients, they were only given a shorter time that we can support them for, maybe 3 to 6 months. But, you know, these clients wanted a lot more. And sometimes I would want to go out and actually meet the clients or, you know, just be a bit more part of their lives. So obviously within the constraints of an organization, you're a bit limited of what you can do. And I wanted to go that step ahead. That's why I've branched out onto this journey.
Thank you. What triggered you to actually started to support women? What were the triggers to let you go for this job that would support women who were going through domestic violence?
Can you hear me, Debbie?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Yeah, I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you now.
Yeah. So basically, I've always been into helping people, advising my friends, you know, family, always have that caring personality. So after doing youth work and then working with older people, I started working with young people in the nursery at a refuge. And I quite enjoyed it. And I've been there ever since. And it's been 10 years moving around in different domestic violence field. I guess what it is, the reward that you get once you know you've helped these women, that's what keeps me going really and wants me to do more all the time.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Right. What do you think educational institution can do to empower young women?
Just encourage women to really, you know their worth, know what they want in life. Um, let them know that there are options. Sometimes, you know, we always think, oh, let's just get married at a young age or so. But you know, everybody's journey is a different journey. So let everybody follow their own individual journeys, really.
Are you able to hear? My internet seems to be unstable. Right. The other question is, what do you believe to be the most significant barriers to women empowerment?
Childcare.
It's interesting. This comes up all the time, the same answer. It doesn't
Oh,
matter
really?
where it doesn't matter where my women are coming from, whether or not it's here, it's America, wherever, it's the same answer. Childcare is one of the biggest barrier. Why do you think it is childcare, and how?
Because school is 9 till 3, and there's not much that you could do in between that time. I've tried.
Yes, yes,
Seriously.
yes.
And, I've had to, quit work. And that's when you think, sometimes it's time to work for yourself so you can do a bit more around the children as well. Because it is very difficult. And I mean, men, they don't even know the price of nursery is 1,300 a month. A lot of them don't know that at all. So, that is definitely a problem.
That's someone's wages you've just quoted. You know that. Exactly.
Exactly.
Wow. Yes, that reminds me.
And that's what they wanted for my son 10 years ago. So I don't know what it is now, but I haven't had any more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm thinking as well. I think, oh my goodness, I remember those prices many moons ago. So you could imagine the price of it right now. Eh? How do you empower yourself and other women in your space?
I get empowered when people around me are happy. So when I've put a smile on the people around me's face, I'm definitely wants to do more to empower people. And me myself, if I'm having a time where I'm down, it's gonna have to be, doing exercise. I've really found that exercise, even walking, really, really helps you to, just let things go for a little while and get back on track as soon as you can.
Thank you. To empower more young people to stand in their power.
Yeah, definitely. Just point them in the right direction.
How are you going to do that?
What was
How
that
can we do
one?
that?
How can we empower
I'm
young
saying, how
people?
can we empower? Yeah. Yes, to
By
stand in their
being
power.
positive role to being positive role models, aspiring the younger generation to do better than even we did, telling them that anything is possible for them and they should just keep working towards it until they achieve it. No goal is too high for them.
Exactly. You said that you worked with you say you're doing youth work, right? What were you doing with them?
Yeah. Taking them on trips that they would normally not be able to afford. That really helped them. I remember one time there was a go-karting trip that was £60 and they was, could not even contribute £10 towards it. So it's just taking them out of their area sometimes and letting them see the wider world as well.
What do you think something like that does to these young people?
Yeah.
Okay. When we take these young people out of their own area and out of the environment, what do you think it does in terms of to them, in terms of their well-being and in terms of their confidence?
In terms of their confidence?
Yeah.
you repeat it for me, Debbie? It's breaking up a little bit there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, you say one of the thing is you take these young people out of the area and take them to places like where they would never go, right? So I'm saying, what do you think he would do for them? What does he
Yeah.
do for them as an individual?
It broadens their horizons and lets them see things that they might not have seen before. They might, you know, see fancy cars. They might see, you know, big high-rise buildings, you know, different jobs that they can do, you know, in theaters. You know, they wasn't, you know, probably in school they didn't get the chance to go to the theater, you know, things like there's so many careers that they were not taught to do. So seeing things like that and different areas, different parts of the world, definitely opens their minds.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, what 3 suggestions can you give to women to enable them to empower themselves, especially the women you're working with who are going through domestic violence? What 3 suggestions would you give them to, you know, to empower them, to make them feel that they're good enough, to make them feel that they're worthy, etc.? What 3 suggestions do you normally give them?
I would say to believe in themselves, definitely love themselves, remember how beautiful they are, take care of themselves, doing, you know, all the routines that they need to do just to keep them, you know, healthy as well. Watch their diet, and just anything that you want is achievable. If you just put your full 100% into your goal, you can achieve them.
Thank you. Do you find the women you work with, right, who are going through domestic violence, do you find that some of them have just given up?
Yeah. And it's so sad. And they think, you know, because they might have lost their homes, their cars, you know, starting over is very, very hard. But, you know, I always tell them, think about how things will be in 2 to 3 years' time. And it does get easier.
I suppose sometimes it's like empowering them by telling them it is better having to start over than remaining in that abusive relationship, isn't it? So it's like just making
Definitely.
them
Yeah.
see, you know, the possibility, what can be other than what have been, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And then also telling them that, you know, if we could start all over again every couple of years, why not? It could, you know, you could be a different person each time. Yeah.
Why do you think
Just
some
having
women? Yeah, sorry, what did you say? Just having the.
just having to let go of the fear. That's all they need to do. It's just fear that's been pumped into them for so long, and they just need to let it all out.
Mm, 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 mm. The interesting thing about that, some women who I've discovered, have gone through domestic violence, there seems to feel that because they've gone through that, they're not good enough and they cannot proceed beyond anything else. Have you find that have been some of the, you know, the blocks which is stopping them from
Yeah,
proceeding?
definitely.
Mm, mm, mm. What would you say to, let's
Yeah,
say,
that's why we have to start with what they've been through first. The trauma that they've been through first. We have to sort that out before they can heal and then move on to the next stage once they're healed. And healing can take a long time as well.
on average, what do you think are some of the barriers that's stopping women from either healing themselves or be receptive to healing?
I think, you know, sometimes they're not actually confronting the problem. you know, they're brushing it underneath the carpet. So it's just going to keep coming back in another form, in another shape, and another form. So once you identify the problem, you go towards it, you face it, challenge it, and then overcome it.
But why, thank you, why do you think, you know, why do you think that they're stopping from, you know, from facing the problem and dealing with it? What do you think are the barriers stopping them from, you know, from moving on?
Sometimes people are so complacent in the life that they've had, and you know, they've spent a lot of time and invested a lot into a relationship of 10, 20, even 50 years, you know. And you know, the kids are there, you know, you live in the same house, you know, your friends are all the same, and it just becomes, you know, complacent. So it's sometimes just easier to stay and be unhappy. But I mean, again, it's about asking yourself that question. Do you want to be unhappy for another 5 to 10 years? Or would you prefer to, you know, try and be happy? You might be sad for another 2 to 3 years while you try to rebuild things. And then, you know, the world is your oyster all over again. So it's a decision that women have to make.
Yeah, but sometimes
nowadays women are really, you know, making the decision that they do want to be happy. And there's not as much a stigma around it anymore.
I think that's the biggest thing you've actually said. The fact is there are reduced stigma, you know, attached to women actually leaving a relationship after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Whereas before it would be claimed that, oh, you've been there for so long, why do you want to leave? And not seeing that the most important factor here is you being happy. And, you know, nobody knows what happened behind closed door. You probably have been going through domestic violence, but for the sake of, you know, your saving face, as they say, you remain in those relationships. How many women, you know, do you see on average, do you feel that stay in relationship for the sake of it?
Yeah.
It seems I've lost my guest again. Let's see if she comes back on. It seems like we have been having internet challenges. Right, we've been having internet challenges, so I'm not too sure what's happening there. Basically, we were looking at female empowerment and what were some of the triggers that have triggered Rhonda to become empowered and to start this empowerment journey. One of the things she said was the fact that she worked with women who suffer from domestic violence. As a result of that, she decided to start off her own business. The need to take women a bit further on their journey. Yes, I was just recapping because I realized I've lost you again.
Okay. Yeah, the internet's so bad today.
Yes, well, I know, isn't it? Technology. Welcome back. You know, right. I was just, you know, just recapping the reason why you was on this empowerment journey. You know, you worked with women suffering from domestic violence, and then you decided, you realized that they need more than what the organization was offering.
Yeah.
So in order to give them that extra, you decide to start rebuilding their life. So it's not just leaving them halfway now. You're actually taking them all the way to the new life that they're going to be starting to build. Whereas before,
Yeah.
is it a situation where when they come through domestic violence, let's say you supported them, do you just leave them for them to start building independently?
Yes, it was usually a time frame that we have to work with the women. So it could be, 3 months, or it could be 6, or sometimes if it was complex needs, it will be longer. But yes, the limit, when we had to say goodbye to clients, a lot of them weren't ready, or they didn't want to leave the support as yet.
Mm-hmm. So you saw there was a need to support them further so that they could actually start picking up the pieces and start building.
That's right. Yes. And I wanted to join them on that empowerment journey. Now that I've seen the start, I now want to go to the finishing line with them.
Mm-hmm. And thank you. And how have that been?
It's really good, because I was coaching one client last week, and the first thing she said is, I don't want to talk about the past. So it shows that,
Oh,
you can only
wow.
talk about the past for so long until you're ready to start talking about the future. That's when the journey gets fun.
Yeah. So in other words, she's saying, well, I've done the past already. There is no point in me going there. And I know the past build my future, but that's fine. I'm done with that. Now it's now time for me to take on the next,
Yes.
Okay. That's fantastic though, because too often, when you reflect on this journey, a lot of women stays there for a while because they don't know how to move on after they've had the support, because the support, as you rightly say, is not indefinite. So when they've had the support, they now need to think, okay, so where next?
Exactly.
Do you feel a lot of these organizations should be supporting women into the where next sector, the where next, section?
Say that again, Debbie?
I said, do you think that a lot of this organization that you've worked with or is working with in terms of supporting women through this journey of abuse, do you feel that they now need to put something else in place, which is looking at the next step, the where next?
Yeah. That's when you start to, sort about what sort of goals they have, what would they like to do now that, they're in control of their own lives. And once you start to, set goals with them, they start to have a whole wide range of things that they hadn't thought of before.
Do you think that is what's missing in terms of the support women get, during the, getting over the abuse?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. More coaches. A lot of people have been through counseling, but now can you hear me, Debbie?
No, I just heard past. You see, a lot of people have gone through counseling, but now, and that's it. I didn't hear the rest of it. Can you hear me? Oh. Rhonda, did you hear me? Hello? Hello? Rhonda,
Hi, Debbie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you better now. You started to
Yes.
speak and then, you know, you disappeared.
That's better.
Yeah.
Yes, I was saying definitely once they've got goals, then we can work towards those goals. And that's when it starts to, you know, get better for these women and, you know, let go of the baggage of the past, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So would you recommend to women that when they've done counseling, they need to, you know, to find something else now to enable them and empower them to move on to the next level?
Definitely, yes. And that's what we do with empowerment coaching. We take them to that next level. We get rid of the, you know, stress, the trauma, the anxiety, and then you start to look deep within inside yourself and find out what your inner strengths are. You know, you might have been a housewife for 20 years, but what would you like to do now that, you know, the kids are grown up and you've moved area? You know, some people want to start baking or some people want to start traveling, you know, and we got to realize all these things are possible and then look at the ways that, you know, we can achieve them step by step.
It's interesting because you could also look at it in terms of this, you know, when women have gone through abuse, it actually can keep them locked within themselves.
Yeah, yes. And that's how the abuse survives when it's kept a secret, you know? And a lot of women don't want to talk about it because it's a taboo subject. But what women need to realize is that it's happening to so many women. And sometimes you may think your story is the worst until you hear someone else's.
So that is something on shows like this and, you know, what you're doing, etc., is just to remind women that you need to talk about the abuse. There's no point in keeping it secret, because keeping it secret is allowing it to continue and allow other people, you know, story to continue. The more you talk about it, the more you say, okay, you know, you acknowledge and realize that you are not to blame. It was something that happened to you. And when you talk about it, it means that you're exposing it. And it's the way to heal, isn't it?
Definitely, yes. Definitely.
Okay, thank you. Have you got anything else to say to women who are going through some of the challenges of abuse either within the relationship right now, etc.? And another thing is that sometimes people seem to think abuse is within the home, etc. But abuse can take place anywhere. And it's sometimes you could also have siblings abuse, you know, or parents abuse. So it's not just
Definitely.
confined to the relationship of male and female. And I think that is where
Yeah.
people seems to forget.
Yeah, definitely. I've got so many cases that, you know, it is in-house violence with brothers, sisters, parents, and people that are, you know, afraid of people who are not in the country at the moment. So they are still fleeing the violence, you know. My advice to women would be, you know, if you're not happy, find somebody that you can talk to. There's so many agencies, charities, organizations out there. You've got friends, you've got neighbors, you've got people at the schools, you've got your GP. A lot of referrals come through our GPs now. So, you know, just get help, get advice. That's just step one, and then take it from there. Don't beat yourselves up and stay positive.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. Have you got a list of help? Have you got a list of, you know, where women could get help from?
Yes, you can just Google domestic violence. You've got Solace Women's Aid, you've got Hestia, you've got so many women's charities, Southall Black Sisters. There's so many, but depending on which area you're in, there will be a service in your area to help you, and they are charities. So it will be free advice for you as well, and confidential.
Thank you very much for that. Anything else you want to say?
That's it for now, everybody. Look forward to meeting with you all again. Stay positive, stay beautiful, and follow me at Formidable Coaching.
Do you want to write it in there?
Thank you for having me, Debbie.
Fantastic. You want to write it on my Facebook, or just send it to me so I could actually post it on my page? Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rhonda, and thank you very much, my Facebook people. I've got another show on Friday regarding homeschooling, the alternative to the traditional education. Remember, you don't have to send your child to main school education if it is not working for them. Remember, not every child fits into the mold and the conditioning and the programming of traditional education. You could actually educate your child home, or you could actually get some people to actually to support them. And remember, the traditional education is not the best thing for every child. Some children, they're rather to start the journey right now within the career instead of taking 10 GCSE, and they're not all useful to them. Yes, I'm a teacher, but at the same time, I do believe that we need to support our children on the journey, because if they want to be an author, if they want to be a social worker, why wait? We might as well get them to, to follow someone, to get a mentor in those subjects, instead of doing all these 10 GCSEs, and they're not useful. And as I said, the education system doesn't fit with everybody. And the national curriculum is not compulsory either, which a lot of people don't know that. The national curriculum in the UK is not compulsory. Every school decide to teach different aspects of the national curriculum. Anyway, guys, join me on Friday, where we're going to be talking about that. And on Saturday, we have Female Educators Roundtable, whereby I speak to a female educator from around the world, talking about the journey as a teacher. Anyway, guys, take care, stay blessed, have a fantastic evening, night, morning, where you are. Look after yourself. First and foremost, love yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You need to determine how you want other people to deal with you. When you don't love yourself, they won't love you either. Love starts from within, it's not outside. Take